Test me 1, 2, 3. You can hear me.
Hi.
Lika.
It is me, Jessamine.
Board President, I can hear you, but you are coming in low.
Hi, Jeff.
I'm coming in low.
You guys turn up. Mark,
Hey,
Mark,
stand,
it's a little low.
stand up for me.
Can we go ahead and mute everyone at this point right now so we can get started, please?
What?
I hope you hear the screen. Oh, there you go.
Anyone? Can you stand?
Okay. Thank you. Okay, and everyone has joined. We're going to go ahead and get started. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Azusa Unified School District Board meeting today. It is May 18th, 2021, and it is 7:04. And we welcome all our Azusa families and everyone watching at home. Thank you for being here tonight. It's a very special night, again, a celebration. And we're going to go ahead and open up this meeting and get started with our flag salute. We're moving to 4.1, this open session agenda item. And tonight we have, as we kind of heard a little bit, we heard from our Longfellow student, Jessamine Borgia. Jessamine, are you there? We can go ahead and get started when you are ready to lead us in the flag salute.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Say hello. Everybody stand up, please.
Hello, anyone? Please stand up, please.
Okay, ready? I pledge
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good job.
Thank you, Ms. Jessamine. Can I ask you a question, Ms. Jessamine?
Let me ask you a question.
How old are you?
I'm supposed to be 4, but I turned 5.
You're 5 years old. She's 5.
5. Well, we really, really appreciate you coming to our board meeting and sharing this flag salute with us. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Can we give you a round of applause? Yay. Thank you. Thank you, Dad, in the background for putting her.
You're welcome.
We're going to go ahead now and move on with our board agenda item 4.2, which is roll call. We can go ahead and get started with board member Cruz Gonzalez, present. We have board member Yolanda Rodriguez Pena, present. We have board member Bo here. We have board member Greer on Zoom. He is here, but we cannot hear him. Is he online?
I no longer see board member Greer in the room.
Okay, then we'll go ahead and join us later. Then we will go ahead and but for right now, he's not here. And I, board member Arianis, I'm here today. So thank you so much. We are going to be moving to the next Agenda item 4.3, approval of the agenda, but with one exception is we're going to pull 11.9 and we're going to move from consent calendar and move to 12.1. Can I please get a motion to approve 4.3 with the exception that I just made?
I make a motion to approve. I'll second.
We have a first by board member Rodriguez Pena. We have a second by board member Cruz Gonzalez. And we have all joined. Is everybody? Go ahead and vote. It seems like it is not working for me. Is it working? Let's go ahead and take a roll call. Board member Cruz Gonzalez.
Yes.
Board member Rodriguez Pena.
Yes.
Board member Bo.
Yes.
And myself, yes, it's a 4-0. And it's approved. We're going to go ahead and now move to 5.1, which is the approval of settlement case number ASCW-011168. Can I please get a motion to approve 5.1?
So moved.
Can I please get a second?
I'll second.
We have a first by board member Bo. We have a second by board member Gonzalez. If we can go and we're going to do a roll call. Board member Gonzalez. Oh, get on.
Oh, it's on now.
Is it on? Not for me.
Oh, it worked for me.
Okay, we have board member.
Yes.
Okay, we have board member Bo,
Yes.
and I myself, yes, and one absent. We have 4 out of 5, which it passes. Now we move on to recognition and awards. 6.1. The San Gabriel Valley District in California, Hawaii Elks Association Student Award recognition.
Good evening. I would like to introduce Donna and John McIntyre from the Doherty Elks Lodge to present an award to Cassidy Nord from Ellington School. Go ahead and have Donna and John join.
Good evening, Superintendent Ortega, members of the Board of Education, and guests. My name is John McIntyre Jr. I am currently serving as the California Hawaii Elks Association State Drug Awareness Program Vice Chairman, representing the California Hawaii Elks Association, the San Gabriel Valley District Elks, and Doherty Elks Lodge number 1427. It gives me great pleasure to be here tonight with my wife, Donna. At this time, I would like to turn the microphone over to Donna to continue the presentations.
Good evening, everyone. This past year has been an incredibly challenging one for the Elks, as it was for you. Most of our Elks lodges in the state, including Doherty Elks Lodge 1427, has been shuttered in place. Even with the stay-at-home orders and education taking on a different look through the distance virtual learning, thanks to your administration, your teachers, your parents and students, the charitable works of Doherty Elks Lodge have continued. Through special grants this year, we were able to provide earphones, earbuds, microphones to assist students with DBL lessons. And we were able to provide dictionaries to every 3rd grade student in your district. In addition, this year, we sponsored the Elks Americanism Essay Contest and the Drug Awareness Poster Essay and Video Contest. We were fortunate to receive submissions from various school districts, including the Azusa Unified School District. Our reason for being here this evening is to honor a student who represented your school district, her school, and our lodge so well at the San Gabriel Valley District and California Elks Association levels. Earlier in the year, this student was notified that she had been selected as a lodge first place winner in the Drug Awareness Essay Contest, which was held this past October. By winning at the lodge level, her essay was first forwarded to the next level of competition for further judging. In normal times, the Elks would have held a youth night at the Lodge to honor all award recipients. Earlier this year, John and I took the Lodge level awards to her school site for presentation at the awards assembly, and we got to meet this student online. We were so pleased to be included in the Zoom Awards presentation held at Ellington School. A huge thank you to Dr. Messina's principal and her teacher, Ms. Guarino, for making this happen. However, tonight we are pleased to have been included virtually at your Board of Education meeting to present some very special awards to Cassidy Nord, 7th grade student at Ellington School. Cassidy placed first place in the San Gabriel Valley District Drug Awareness Essay Contest, where she competed against students from other lodges representing West Covina, Alhambra San Gabriel, Arcadia, and Pasadena Elks Lodge. By placing first at this level, her essay proceeded to the California-Hawaii Elks Association level, where she competed against district winners from throughout the state of California and Hawaii. We were so pleased when we were notified that Cassidy placed 3rd in the state of California, Hawaii. This is quite an accomplishment. For her efforts, Cassidy, who I see on the screen right here, hi Cassidy, she's going to be presented with 2 awards tonight. The first award is her San Gabriel Valley District First Place Drug Awareness Program Essay Certificate and a monetary award of $100. Secondly, though, she's at the California-Hawaii Elks Association, where she placed 3rd place in the Drug Awareness Essay Contest. She's going to also receive a certificate and a monetary award of $200. So Cassidy, you're up to $400 now, okay? Good work. Cassidy, your certificates and awards are at your school site. We presented them to your principal. We only wish we could have presented them to you in person. Congratulations to you and your parents and your teacher. We hope that you will continue to enter our contest because we know you're in 7th grade, so you can compete again as an 8th grader. And we hope that you do because you are a very talented writer. In closing, in addition to Mr. Ortega, superintendent, and you, the Board of Education members, we would especially like to thank Ms. Dana Mitchell, Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services, for her support, especially in the area of drug awareness and prevention. Doherty Elks 1427 looks forward to many more years of continued partnership with the Azusa Unified School District. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Well,
And
thank
that concludes our presentation.
you so much for presenting this great award to one of our students, 1st and 3rd, and that's $400. That's amazing. That's awesome. And thank you, Ms. Dana Mitchell, for just leading that and making our students just top and shine, be at the top and shine. Moving on to
So I think Cassidy's on. I wonder if
Oh,
we want to hear from her. Video just went off, but I see her.
oh,
Cassidy, open the room.
I'm very happy that I was nominated for first place, and I'm really proud that my essay was so appreciated and selected for. I did not expect it to even get first place in the Lodge one. I'm very happy.
thank you for those words, and congratulations again. And like they said, go ahead and, when you're in 8th grade, to go ahead and try again. You never know, you get 2 first prizes, maybe get a little bit more, right? Okay. And moving on to 6.2, Sousa Unified School District 2021 through 2022 budget book cover winner.
Thank you, Board President. With the goal of promoting student enrichment while providing the real world experience, the business department enlisted Mr. Jim Hogg, of Gladstone High School graphic art design students to create the 21-22 budget book cover. We received several submissions, and the students were tasked with designing the cover that included the district logo as well as the logos of all our secondary schools. Both the creativity and vision was left up to the students. I would now like to turn it over to Mr. Jim, who can identify the selection process and how students were invited to participate.
Would it be okay to put that on our screen?
I will.
Oh, okay. Great, thank you.
Mr. Jim?
Unmute and start video. Okay. Hi, everybody. Good evening. Okay, well, good evening, honored board members, administrators, and a heartfelt appreciation to all the classified staff members in the district, especially the MIS department. I also want to express my heartfelt gratitude to Frank Chang and Gladstone Principal Fernandez. And of course, a very heartfelt thankful to Miss Letitia Jamal for entrusting my class of all classes this graphics assignment, and I welcome more challenges like this as I'm a strong believer in project-based learning. Most importantly, I want to thank my students for persevering this year. It was extremely hard for a lot of them, but students like Irari, well, they're my rock. They kept me going, we kept each other going. So the process, when we first got the call from Ms. Jamal, was to come up with a new budget booklet, a new design that we felt best represents the district as a whole. And so there was a procedure that is used in industry. First is to create sketches, then to understand the theme, and of course, finally, to use Photoshop. We've been learning Photoshop through remote learning. We have been able to allow the students to access our Mac lab at Gladstone, which has been an enormous help. And we've had over 50 students send in some submissions. I chose as 10 of them. And the winner obviously was Irari, who is on the call with us. I felt her work was really outstanding. It was clean. It represented Azusa. The font was good. The design was good. She used the layout correctly. Overall balance, symmetry, color, it was perfect. So that's why I think that Irari deserves this recognition.
And is Ms. Irari present today?
And I think she's on the call with us.
Yes, she is.
Ms. Irari, I just want to personally thank you on behalf of the board, Superintendent Ortega, for your submission, for your detail, your quality of work, and you will be honored to display your artwork and design on every adopted budget for the 2022 fiscal year, as well as our interim reports and unaudited actuals. So I would like to take this time to congratulate you and to say thank you.
Yeah.
Is she on the call?
Irari, you want to say something?
Yes.
I think she's muted. Do you have, there's a button on the bottom left. You see where it's mute and video? Sorry, she's having some technical problems. Go ahead and start video. And then there's also should be mute and unmute. Sorry, we're more used to Google Meets than we are Zoom.
Okay.
Okay, do you see the mute thing? Okay. If not, then you want me to tell him something?
Yeah, can you, like, I just want to thank you.
I actually have a few questions. How long did
Hold on.
you said you did this remotely, right, Mr. Haig?
I'm sorry. Iradi, 1 second, please. I'm sorry. Board member Board President Arianes, can you say that again, please?
Yes. Just how do you inspire your students to just come up with phenomenal work? This is like amazing.
Because I make them realize how amazing they are. And I had the honor and pleasure of having your son as my student. And when he gave me a chance to be the advisor for the Film and Media Club, it was something about him that I saw that said, you know what, this kid's got something special. And that's the key to teaching, is to see the specialness in every student there is. Every one of my students has the ability to be a leader. And that's the whole thing. I bring it out. They do the work, I just bring it out. And so with this project-based learning, which our principal Fernandez involved us in, I got a lot of ideas for next year. And students like Iradi, she's very quiet, she doesn't say much, but she is silent but very deadly. So extremely talented. And what can I say? All my students are a blessing, and that's how I see them. I don't see them as a project. I see them as a blessing. They are to me like my own children. So I had your son, who was a wonderful kid, and I absolutely love your son. And also I had board member Pena's grandson. I think it was Andrew, right? Yeah. And he was a great kid. Really enjoyed having him in class, and that's basically it. You know, I'm a straight and narrow guy, but I just bring out the very best, and that's what I do. And they bring out the best in me. I want to work hard for them. Well,
I truly appreciate Latasha for, I don't think we've ever done this before. And so, involving the students, and for them to, to take that pride, because the budget, is something that drives our district. And so thank you, Latasha Jamal, for doing this exciting and fun thing for our students to engage in. And Mr. Haig, thank you again for pouring your heart and soul into what you do for our students.
And I just want to point out, Iradi did mention something, even though she's having some technical, she did say she wanted to express to the board, thank you for this opportunity. She really wanted to, she's honored to be the winner. She didn't think she would be, but she is. And she welcomes more challenges in the upcoming years.
Great. And I want to thank you, Mr. Haig. Usually when you see a budget book, you're like, oh no, it's kind of scary, right? Look how colorful, it makes you like want to look at all these numbers. Once you open the book, right? Because it's very colorful and it's beautiful.
Well, all I can say with my students,
good job.
Well, thank you. And with my students, you haven't seen anything yet.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you, board members.
Since she's having technical difficulties, well, thank you for sharing her sentiments with us, and please congratulate her from us. If you're watching, congratulations. I want to give you a round of applause. Can't wait to see that on our cover for our budget book cover. So thank you again, Mr. Haig.
Thank you.
Now we are going to be moving on to 6.3, the Administrator of the Year 2021 presentation. Take it away, Jorge.
Thank you, Madam President, Board of Education members, cabinet staff, and guests. I have the honor of starting off the formal recognition of our Administrators of the Year. Our administrators include managers, site and district administrators, coordinators, directors and assistant directors, psychologists, and confidential employees. And their work spans throughout the entire district. But the unifying quality is leadership. Leadership involves vision, courage, and most of all, a deep compassion for the people that we all serve and lead. Leaders have vision that others may not have. It involves imagination, foresight, knowledge of people themselves, policy, and the law. Courage is also a quality that leaders must possess. It's that internal fortitude that is required to keep moving forward when it's difficult or unpopular. Courage is also displayed when engaging in difficult conversation or when taking extreme ownership of a mistake that one has made or someone on their team has made. But most of all, leadership requires a deep and unshakable passion for people. Not just about the relationship, it's taking a sincere interest in the people one serves. Board of Education and guests, I'm happy to report that we have an outstanding team of leaders that make up our management and administrative team. Picking just one person to serve as the manager, administrator of the year is a difficult task. In a moment, you will hear about the finalists for the administrator of the year. They all possess the qualities of a leader that I just discussed. In their responses to our questions, they spoke about students, their work with teachers and parents, and their genuine interest in the school district. These finalists also spoke about challenges they faced and overcome, and each of them spoke with such grace and gratitude for the work that they do each and every day. Before I turn it over to our superintendent, I want you to know that this type of leadership just doesn't happen. This type of leadership is modeled over time, and is cultivated and cared for, and ultimately becomes part of the culture. These values are certainly demonstrated by our Administrator of the Year finalists. And now I'll turn it over to Mr. Ortega, our superintendent, to introduce our first finalist.
Thank you, Mr. Ronquillo. I have the pleasure of saying a few words about Mr. Gabriel Fernandez. I have known about Gabriel for a very long time, and although we technically never worked together, I have on many occasions the opportunity to hear about him. Many years ago, I used to hear about a young teacher at the Continuation High School who was embracing and using data with his classes and his teams. I used to hear about how he worked with his colleagues in learning and growing best strategies around English learners, and how he worked on making the Continuation High School experience as good as the comprehensive high school. He then moved on to another district and into management. That district is where I graduated, and so I still have friends in that district. And again, I would hear occasional things about Mr. Fernandez and his innovative, learner, focused, and loving mindset, and how it was creating opportunities for students and staff alike. Now, he is a member of our team. And even though I still hear about the things he is doing, now I get to see them. I get to live them, and I get to benefit from them. Mr. Fernandez has a love of learning, and this is a gift that he shares with the staff, his students, and us, his colleagues. It is very common to get a text or an email from Mr. Fernandez with a link to an article, a video, or a website that he has come across and has ignited his excitement or curiosity. Gabriel has an ability to think in a convergent and divergent manner with multiple perspectives, and this serves not only him well, but it also serves those he works with and his students well. He brings people together to problem solve, dream, and pursue continuous improvement. This year, he launched a project-based learning opportunity for teachers at his site, and the feedback and outcomes, one of which we saw today, from that journey have been extremely positive. Mr. Fernandez, this is a well-deserved recognition. Thank you for what you have brought to not only Gladstone, but our Azusa community as a whole. We appreciate that students and staff are at the center of what you do. We appreciate that you are G in everything that you do. And for those of us who are lucky enough to get it on a weekly basis, we appreciate your weekly words and your weekly song of the week. Thank you, sir.
No, that was not part of the plan. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Ms. Jamal to introduce our next finalist.
Good evening, all. It is my pleasure to introduce some, and not to all, Mr. Robert Zamora. Robert Zamora was hired in 1995, and he has held the title of a custodian, district messenger, groundskeeper 1, 2, and 3, groundskeeper 3, crew leader, and his current role as the ground supervisor. Robert, affectionately called by many Mr. Cfta, is the first to lend a hand despite the task. Robert has played and continues to play a vital role in the Cfta's graduation and promotion exercises. We have made the bold decision to provide students in the community desk. Robert was the first to report, organize, and succeed. As we transition between maintenance and operation and transportation director, Robert called me personally to offer his assistance. His only words were, "Whatever you need, just let me know." You can find Robert present at our community events, such as our turkey giveaway and our toy drive. At one event, he was not even the only Zamora present with a smile. It was also his lovely wife and his son accompanying him to assist and serve our community. Robert has documented and recorded the district's tree inventory at every site, naming each species, quantity, and recommendation for proper maintenance. Robert has been instrumental in ensuring that every school site receives their proper PPE, all their supplies, and all the COVID protocol materials in a timely and professional manner. Robert has worked with the City of Cfta's leadership to certain projects, for public work projects to ensure collaboration and teamwork as they approach the beautification of the city and curb appeal of some of our selected sites. When seeking input on the impact that Robert has had on the district, one shared, Robert has been a full-time employee for the Usc Unified School District for more than 26 years, and I'm impressed by his exceptional quality of service that he provides to everyone that he comes in contact with. The high standard of performance that Robert is known for that he truly displays is dignity and respect, and the respect that he has for our school district and our local community. When I spoke to his current director, Brian Allen, he said the overall characteristics that set Robert apart is his willingness to help and serve the needs of others, going above and beyond the normal call of duty. He brings a zeal and a passion for getting the job done, regardless of the nature of what it is to do. 3 words when I think of Robert is dedication, diligence, and dependability. This is all that comes to mind when you think of Mr. Robert Zamora. So, Mr. Zamora, we want to thank you for always being the first to volunteer a helping hand and to lead our district forward. We couldn't do anything without you.
Thank you, Ms. Jamal. From Board of Education, I think you can see how difficult it has been to select a district administrator of the year. And with the talent that we've discussed already, I'm happy to report that Norma Camacho is our district administrator of the year. Congratulations, Ms. Camacho. What a wonderful honor. And a little earlier, I was able to deliver the plaque that goes to the district administrator of the year. She has that right there. So congratulations, very well deserved. At this point, I would like to turn it over to Dr. Mitchell.
Thank you. It is my honor to recognize and celebrate Norma Carvajal Camacho as the 2021 AUSD Manager of the Year. Norma has served as Usc Unified since 1997 as a teacher, TOSA elementary principal, and director of multilingual services and categorical programs. Norma attended Lee, Powell, Foothill Junior High, and is an Azusa High School alumni. Norma is well known up and down the state for not only her knowledge and expertise of emergent bilingual instruction, but also in our district, and as a fierce advocate for our migrant and international students' access to a rich, rigorous, inclusive, and equitable educational program that both meets the needs of our students and recognizes and celebrates their cultural assets in what they bring. Norma, I asked your colleagues to assist me in celebrating you. Here are the wonderful and thoughtful things they had to say. Norma's passion for UC Unified is evident, and she works tirelessly to support schools and administrators. Norma is an exemplary educator, a fierce advocate for all children, and dedicated to serving this amazing community with integrity and compassion. She leads by example, and her passion for serving emergent bilingual students and their families is the driving force behind her most cherished and valued work. What I appreciate about Norma is that she uncovers new information. She takes time to facilitate our learning. She will tinker with various ideas, consult with colleagues, and provide resources to better serve our community. Her friendly spirit and sense of humor bring joy when we work together. Her passion for emerging bilinguals and her desire for their success is unsurpassed. She's approachable, caring, responsive, and supportive. I have such amazing respect for Norma. She expects more out of herself than she expects from anyone else. She's the definition of true servant leadership, and I'm fortunate to work and learn from her. Norma is exactly what an administrator should be. She's a visionary who uses both her head and her heart to lead her work. She is someone whom anyone can go to for answers, wisdom, resources, and approaches everyone with empathy and care. Norma's passion for children is evident in her work and interactions with staff, families, and students here in UC Unified. She's a true servant leader, willing to roll up her sleeves, the hard and complex work required to meet the needs of all of our students. In the forefront of her mind is how her work can and will positively impact lives, in particular the lives of students who are learning English and their families. Norma approaches her profession with a focus on how all of our work impacts students and families. She takes the time to deeply understand all the pieces of the project she approaches. This supports a level of quality, which is truly an example of excellence in education. I'm a better educator in part because of the opportunities I've had to work with Norma. Norma leads from the heart and inspires us to do the best we can do. She is without question one of the most dedicated, motivated, hardworking, and resourceful administrators in our district. Norma is willing to go the extra mile to assist students, parents, and colleagues. Thank you for recognizing Norma Camacho. Norma, you are a champion for our school. Thank you.
Congratulations. Well deserved. And at this point, I would like to turn the microphone over to Norma to say a couple words. Norma?
Thank you. I have to begin by recognizing my colleagues, Gabriel Fernandez and Robert Zamora, who are such tremendous support to staff and to the community in so many ways. You are both amazing leaders. And yes, you've got Azusa High School and Gladstone High School alumni represented here, right, Robert? But go Aztecs. But truly, I am just so honored, and I'm honestly so humbled by the words that I heard here tonight. And, you know, to be recognized, particularly this year that has been, in which we've seen so many challenges and we've seen so many examples of tremendous leadership across the district from our classified staff, our administrators, our teachers, our school board, our families. Gracias a las familias que han apoyado a sus hijos y que han participado en todos los comités conmigo y que dan tanto de su tiempo para mejorar el distrito y esta comunidad. Se lo agradezco muchísimo. In my many years in this district, I've been called student, teacher, principal, and now director. And from my first day in this community in Azusa, sitting in Mr. Roach's third grade classroom at Lee School, which included friends who are colleagues today. In fact, 3 of us worked together at Longfellow School at the same time. But it's evident that it is the people that make this district. And I am so grateful for all of you who I've had the opportunity to work alongside of and learn from, and the students who always inspire me. You're the reason that we're all here, and it is a privilege to serve here in Azusa. And the words that a student shared that I keep on my desk remind me that sometimes it is the smallest things that we do that can make a difference for students. And I just want to share a little of this. And Board President Arianes may remember this student because this was one of our students. After just immigrating from Mexico to the US at 8 years of age, I was enrolled at Magnolia Elementary. Being an immigrant, I had no idea how to speak or write English, and entering school here in the US seemed extremely intimidating and nerve-wracking. I was expecting to have the most horrible day of my life this first day of school, but as I entered Mrs. Camacho's class, that thought quickly disappeared. She very kindly welcomed me into her classroom and introduced me to my classmates. She led me to my seat and in Spanish told me that she would help me understand the lessons of the day. And that diminished my worries. I just have to say thank you all so much for this lovely recognition from the bottom of my heart. It is a true privilege to serve this district and this community.
Very, very well deserved. Thank you for those very nice words. At this point, I'd like to turn it over to Melissa Alcantar from Foothill Credit Union. Melissa?
Hi, good evening, everybody. Yes, thank you so much for allowing me to join today. So per usual, we'd love to support the district any way we can. And I'm so happy for Norma. I know she's a great supporter of Foothill Credit Union. So I have seen her passion for her students and for the school. So congratulations, Norma, you're awesome. And on behalf of Foothill, I'm happy to award you with a $100 check in recognition for your excellence to your students. Congratulations for being Azusa's Administrator of the Year. So I'll get that to you soon. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. Board President, I will turn it back over to you.
Thank you. And I would like to go ahead and open it up to my colleagues if they would like to say a few words.
Yes, I'd like to say a few words. I'd like to say a few words regarding Gabriel Fernandez. I want to congratulate all the administrators of the year for 2021. But Mr. Fernandez in Gaston High School, I've seen him in action. I've heard very good compliments about him from staff, parents, and I see why he was selected. I was actually on Zoom, Google Meet this morning, coffee with the principal, and many parents were congratulating him. We went over, it was supposed to end at 10, but there were so many parents just talking about him. They didn't even know how they appreciated him and him at Glaston High School. So go Gladiators. Robert Zamora, I know him as Robert Z. In 2015, Robert was selected for CSE Classified Employee of the State. He went to Sacramento to get his award. Now Administrator of the Year, he has continued to serve AUS in any way he can. He's always sure the job is done, especially during COVID. When Darren left, he stepped in. We know that we can always depend on you, Robert. Thank you for your service. Norma Camacho, congratulations for being the Administrator of the Year 2020-21. I've seen her in action. I've seen her as a teacher. I've seen her as a principal at Murray School, and now the director of BL. She's always had passion for students and parents, and I could see when she speaks to them from the heart that she's always takes time to speak to the parents and the students. And I want to congratulate her and everybody that was nominated for this award. It was very well deserved by all three. I could see why they were nominated by their peers. Thank you.
So I think Yolanda said it very well. I also want to express my appreciation to not only the three that were honored, but all the administrators in our district, all the managers in our district, because I know, as with everyone, last year's been especially a toll on all of them. So I just want to express appreciation. I do want to say that I think that these three really exemplify what I think is propelling our district forward, and that is their commitment to innovation, their commitment to community, and then their commitment to just do the initiative to do whatever it takes to get something done. So each of them shows that spirit, and I think that that's really driving our district forward. So thank you all three.
I would like to say things, starting with Mr. Fernandez. Last year, I think it was the first year or I can't remember. Yes. And it was right through a pandemic. And having myself being a parent in this school district and having a senior, and just the way things were communicated, the way that things were just handled, I was very impressed. I myself worked for Gladstone High School for the last 15 years. Before that, I do see he is an exemplar principal, and so thank you for that, Mr. Fernandez. And Mr. Robert Zamora, everything that you guys shared about him, I've seen it. I've seen him come together for people in the community, help, fundraisers, like you said, stepping up to the plate. You can truly see the value of an employee that he is. And thank you to his family, his wife, and his children for always coming out to all the events. It takes a family, and you can definitely see why he's able to do what he does for our district, because he has a lot of family support. So thank you to his family as well. And Ms. Norma Camacho, and learning from you as a teacher, and being able to share that space with you. And it's been amazing to know you, to see your growth within the district as a principal, and now as a director, and our director of the year for 2020, 2021. We appreciate you tremendously. We appreciate all three of you tremendously. And I would agree with my colleagues, board member Cruz Gonzalez, is you guys drive this district and continue to drive this district because you put our students first. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, from the bottom of our hearts here in this board here tonight, that we truly, truly honor you three. And we're thankful for all the administrators that work here in our district. So with that being said, thank you again, and congratulations to all. Now, we are going to be moving to our items from the floor, public comment on agenda or non-agenda items. It is 7.1. Do we have anyone from the public?
Yes, we do. We have two people with their hands raised. First up is Cecilia. You may unmute your mic.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Good evening, Dr. Ortega, AUSD board members, administrators, colleagues, AEA family, and AUSD families. First off, I'd like to congratulate our administrators of the year. I would like to say congratulations to Norma and Rob and Mr. Fernandez. You guys do an exceptional job. So that's wonderful and great, and congratulations. My name is Cecilia Delatorre, and I would like to express my concerns in regard to the reorganization models that have been chosen by the Reorganization Committee. The models listed, I believe, in tonight's presentation do not match the final 6 models of the reorganization that the committee has chosen in the last meeting. I have been attending the meetings as an observer, of course, making notes and sharing ideas and concerns with fellow colleagues and parents. And I'm just concerned as a parent and employee of AUSD, I want to share that I care about Azusa for today, tomorrow, and for the many years ahead. I'm hoping that the Reorganization Committee and our wonderful and dedicated board members will not what seems to be or happened with the 7-Eleven committee to happen again. I hope and I have faith and believe that we together need to work as a community. And of course, it's in our name, Azusa Unified, to make the best decisions that our Azusa students deserve, what they need, and will allow for Azusa to be one of the most successful in our area. I believe in us. So with that, I'd like to say again, congratulations. Please stay safe, stay positive, and let's stay focused. Thank you and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Ms. Cecilia De La Torre, for the comments. We did have someone else, but I do not see them there anymore. Another comment.
That was an accidental hand raise. There are no more hands raised at this time.
Okay. Do we have anyone else raising their hands at this time?
Not at this time.
Thank you. Move to item 8.1, comments, reports, and requests by the Board of Education. We'll go ahead and start with Board Member Cruz Gonzalez.
So most of my comments are related more to the opening, so I'll also going to save those for later on. But there's two things that I did want to mention, and that is I hope that we as a district think about in terms of our diversity, equity, and inclusion group, think about what kind of outside support we need to be able to really frame equity conversations for the district. I think when you're trying to have these conversations about changing practices, sort of uncovering systemic racism, those are very difficult conversations to have, to be guided from within, right? So I just wanted to put that out there. I heard recently when I was at the TSP Delegate Assembly this last weekend, there's several districts in LA County, in our area in Orange County, that are working with UCLA. Some of them are working with the UCLA Center for Transformation of Cities, and some of them are working with UCLA Center X. Interestingly, Dr. Tyrone Howard is at the Center for Transformation of Cities now, and we work with him at Center X, right? So I think I just want to encourage you to think about who would fit, right? And think about and actually think about getting somebody to help us drive that work. That's one thing that I wanted to mention, and then the other piece actually I just reserved for later on.
Lawn signs. We went to a few homes to put lawn signs for the high school seniors at the 3 high schools, and it went well. It was a beautiful day, and I want to thank Lika. I'm sure that she had something to do with the design because it came out really beautiful, very colorful. And I also want to thank the City of Azusa for their partnership in joining us on funding the yard signs for all the high school seniors. We did have some students that were awake, and we had some kids that were asleep, but that was okay. They did receive their sign. So yes, it was nice. And I want to congratulate the winners of the Grace Napolitano 32 Congressional District Art Award. Out of 41 art pieces from the high schools throughout the 32nd district, second place, Abigail Sanchez. The name of her drawing was Old Age, and third place was Priscilla Terrado, Summer Nights from Gladstone High School, these students. And I didn't realize that Priscilla, she's my neighbor, and she's a very quiet young lady. So I'm very proud to know that she was one of the winners. It touches my heart because, she's able to express herself through a beautiful painting. And I will show them to you. So, Gladstone High School, usually those students come in first, second, or third place every year for the Grace Napolitano Award. Because I have joined them this year, of course, it was done all virtually, or they had to do it with graphic, like Mr. Hayes said. And these kids still took the time to do that. And I want to thank the art teacher, Terry Podomo. She's a great art teacher. And is it possible that we could see the drawings? Because I know there was a link, and Grace Napolitano has a lot of pictures where the link is at, and it was not an individual to know who they were. And I want to congratulate Emmanuel from Magnolia Elementary for his article being published in the ACSA Leadership Magazine on help me and impact bullying. It's a very important topic in the schools, and he has a very the right mindset to help others. Being such a young man, I really want to congratulate him. And I just can pass these and show you the second and third place. And I made a copy of them because I couldn't see them, but I wanted to show you how beautiful they were. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you for your board comments, and thank you for bringing for us to be able to enjoy them and appreciate
the detail in them. Beautiful.
This is they did this with color.
I don't know. Oh, I just made a copy of them.
Yes, no, these are wonderful.
Yes,
No,
I
thank you.
wanted to see them. I
Yeah.
just find them on the website.
Well, thank you for sharing this. Yeah, Board Member Bo.
Thank you. In recognition of Teacher Appreciation Week, I extend my heartfelt thanks to all the educators out there. You provide the home away from home for our students. And with that, I'd like to encourage all students and families to continue to honor the work your teachers are doing, all the hours they devote, by aiming for 100% attendance. Every student, every day, it's the very best way we can show our appreciation for teachers and all they do for us.
Thank you for your comments. And I would like to congratulate our CSCA employees. This is your time to be noticed, and you're always noticed. You're the pillar of every school, and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts for everything that you do. And I would also like to thank again the 3 administrators again. And that's all I have for right now. I will save my comments for the reconfiguration when we get to that item. And at this time, we'll go ahead and move to item 9.1, comments and reports by, and I would also like to thank, again, the 3 administrators, again. And that's all I have for right now. I will save my comments for the reconfiguration when we get to that item. And at this time, we'll go ahead and move to item 9.1, comments and reports by student board members, cabinet, and superintendent. We have student board members. We have Jacob Vasquez.
Good evening, everyone. This week is Classified Employee Appreciation Week. We want to thank all our fantastic staff for all that they do for us. The classified staff is the glue to our school. Because of them, we move in a positive and effective direction. Thank you, classified staff. On May 21st from 12 to 4, we have one more in-person picture day for our students. It will be our last opportunity to take ID and yearbook pictures. Us seniors are excited for our upcoming prom on May 28th and senior sunset/movie night on June 4th. We are excited to see our friends and be together during the last few weeks of school. We are going to start the sports clearance process and have on-site physicals on May 25th and 28th. Looking forward to starting sports for the next year. AP testing is beginning this week. Good luck to all our Aztecs. You got this. Virtual Senior Awards Night and Virtual Scholarship Night is on June 1st. Virtual Sports Awards is on June 2nd. Links were emailed to Dr. Mitchell. Shout out to all the sports teams as they wrap up their season. Good luck to our softball team as they advance to CIF. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Next, we have Alex Arkenborg.
Good evening, board members, cabinet, and Superintendent Ortega. Last week, with support of board members and cabinet, our staff distributed yard signs to the class of 2021. Tomorrow at 1 p.m., we will have a virtual senior award ceremony. Seniors will be recognized for their achievements and scholarships will also be awarded. As we come to the end of the school year, students have been meeting with their teachers virtually and in person. AP Government students are excited to take the AP exam on Thursday. Graduation preparations are in the works for June 8th and 9th ceremony. June 8th and 9th ceremony, sorry. My senior class is excited that we will have an in-person ceremony this year. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. And we have Destiny Contreras.
Good evening, board. Gladstone's ASB has been working with Chick-fil-A on an impact project to benefit the community. ASB students will be volunteering at food distribution at Murray Elementary School, where they will be passing out supplies they have purchased from a Chick-fil-A grant. The class of 2021 is very excited to have an outdoor dance on the evening of May 28th, following the Department of Public Health guidelines. Gladstone is celebrating its seniors with a virtual awards and scholarship ceremony on May 19th at 6 p.m. We are proud of the achievements and accomplishments that students have demonstrated in this challenging year. Congratulations to Mr. Fernandez. He is truly the best and puts his all into his work. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we're going to move to general functions. We move on to item 10.1, approval of school attendance calendar 2021 to 2022. And we have
Board President, comments by Superintendent Cabinet.
yes, we have it before we motion for it.
Okay, great. Thank you. First and foremost, congratulations to Ms. Nord, and thank you for the ALCS for providing these real world contests to our students, and obviously congratulations to the Ellington family. Also congratulations to Ms. Calderon Ferreira for her cover design. Again, thank you, Mr. Haig, and the Gladstone family who helps in this as well. Congratulations again to Mr. Fernandez, Mr. Zamora, and our Administrator of the Year, Mrs. Carvajal Camacho. You all represent the district in the best of manners. I want to send out a happy classified to all of our classified. Thank you for all that you do to make our district the awesome place that it is. Last Wednesday, I was able to join Board Member Bo and Board Member Rodriguez Pena, Mayor Gonzalez, and Council Member Avila at all three of our high schools to help pound out a couple of our signs to our seniors. And just like Board Member Rodriguez Pena, I also want to thank the City of Azusa for their partnership in funding the signs. We appreciate it very much. On Friday, we held a vaccination clinic for students 12 years and older and the adults in their household. We had a huge turnout, and we ended up surpassing the 300 vaccine allotment and going past the 4 p.m. cutoff time. We received tons of praises and gratitude from those that were present for providing this opportunity. There was also room for improvement in the manner the clinic went, and in collaboration with Mercy Pharmacy, we are looking to implement some changes for the second dose that will make the intake a little bit more quicker and more efficient. Thank you to all of our administrative staff and our custodial staff that made this event possible. Thank you.
Good evening. I would like to give an update on the work of our Diversify Our Narrative students, our DON students. As a direct result of the work that they've been doing, we now have a DON novel selection committee, and they have met twice so far, and they have accomplished tremendous work. So we have our English language arts, English language development teacher on special assignment, Kimberly Don, who is facilitating collaborative work in response to our DON committee's call to action to incorporate at least one novel written by a Black, Indigenous, person of color author in each ELA course at our high school. All English language arts, English language development teachers, and DON students were invited to participate in and lead the work of nominating, input, and recommending a novel for each course or grade level. Students and teachers are collaboratively recommending and reviewing novel nominations, which will be included in an interest poll that's going to go out to students and teachers. And the committee will be asking administrators and teachers and students to share the poll via email and Google Classroom and social media to encourage the greatest participation possible. And I just want to give an immense appreciation for the work that's being done. A shout out to Kimberly Dom, our teacher of special assignments, all of the teachers, and especially our DON students for participating and being a part of this really important work. Thank you.
And good evening, Board of Education members, staff, and community. Again, I want to congratulate our administrators of the year. I also want to extend a special thank you to our Yvonne Murillo for her work coordinating her first Administrators of the Year recognition event. So well done, Yvonne. I also want to extend a heartfelt thank you to our CFTA employees. I hope you all enjoy CFTA Employee Appreciation Week.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to echo and congratulate our administrator of the year, the nominees, as well as our selected Ms. Norma. Additionally, I want to join in and thank all of our CSA employees and celebrate them during this week. So we celebrate them all year long, their time, let them have their moment of shine. So I want to show my appreciation and looking forward to eating with them because I love them out. I'm also happy to announce that the business department will be taking part in the May revise this Thursday so that we can see all of the great joys and excitement that we have coming down for the budget to let us get our roll up our sleeves to put a spending plan together to allocate for the funding that we are slated to receive. Additionally, I would like to add that we have completed all of our inspections. I'm going to say all of our sites have passed their inspection with the Department of Health. And additionally, on Friday, we had our first inspection for our sports facility. And in due form, we passed that with flying colors. So I just want to thank everyone that worked in collaboration and that we could ensure the safety and health of all of safety, health, and welfare for all of our students and staff.
Thank you. Now we will move into general functions. 10.1, approval of school attendance calendar 2021-2022. Can I please get a motion to move 10.1?
So moved.
We have a
Second.
first by Board Member Gonzalez. We have a second by Board Member Rodriguez Pena. Go ahead and vote. I'm sorry, I didn't ask. Does anyone have any discussion, questions? Nope. Okay. Go ahead and we have 4 and 1 absent. Moving on to 10.2, school reconfiguration update.
Good evening, board. I'm very happy to be here today to give you an update on the process that the school reorganization team has been taking. In the future, we will be bringing this item for discussion for the board, but tonight it's just an update of where the team is at. Also, please keep in mind that the attachment to this item is a collection of all the handouts we have given the school reorganization team. These can also be found on our website, parceled out by meeting. So last week, the team came together and successfully narrowed down the number of Model 3 ideas from 9 ideas to 4. The ideas that are moving on are what we call 3.10, 3.1, 3.8, and 3.3. That is in the order of the model that received the most points to, well, the least points to the most points, in this case, least being good. The team also narrowed down the number of Model 4 ideas from 4 ideas to 2 ideas. And the 2 ideas that are moving forward for Model 4 are 4.4 and 4.5. This Wednesday, tomorrow, the team is now going to begin to think and contemplate and discuss programs, budget, and staffing. In addition to those 3 pieces, the team will also have staff and parent community data in terms of the 4 ideas for Model 3 and the 2 ideas for Model 4. The way we're going to do that is that on Wednesday, this Wednesday, we are going to be having and hosting an all staff meeting. And at this staff meeting, we will be updating the staff on where the team has been and where they are now. We are going to explain to them the ideas that are currently being looked at. And then we're going to explain that they are going to have an opportunity as a staff to submit a form where they can share what their preference is for Model 3 and what their preference is for Model 4. We're going to show them the form and we're going to walk them through that form. We will further explain that this is only the first time, not the last time, that we will be asking for their input and their thoughts. At the end, we will let them know that we have an entire website dedicated to school reorganization and that our meetings are live and we invite them to those. On Monday evening, we're going to do the same exact thing, but this time with our parent community. So on Monday evening at 6 p.m., we will hold an English meeting, and at 7:30 p.m., we will hold a Spanish meeting. And just like the meeting for staff, at this meeting, we will update the parents in the community. We will explain the current ideas. We will walk them through the form. And we will explain that this is the first time, but not the last time, that we will be seeking input. And again, we will end with opportunities to let them know about our website and our live meetings. Again, this data that we collect from parents and community and from staff will be presented to the school reorganization team. This is the update for tonight, and we look forward to updating the Board of Education at our next meeting.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So how are the community being notified of this meeting?
Yes,
And
so
parents?
100%. So we are all of our regular outlets, social media, Peachstar, Blackboard, everything that we have in our power to let them know. If I'm not mistaken, I think something might have gone out already last night, but I'm not 1,000% sure.
So people that do not have Facebook, Peachstar, and I'm mainly speaking about community because I know parents are
yes.
familiar.
Sure.
But what about the community? How are they being reached?
So Board President Arellanes requested that we reach out to the city to see if they can help us promote the event as well.
You mean through their council meetings?
Through their channels
But
as well.
there's not a way to send them a postcard or mailer. Not everyone watches. Again, not everyone watches the council meeting.
Sure. I don't know that we would be able to pull that off by Monday to send out a mailer to everyone.
Well, I wish that would be done.
Okay.
A different route other than social media, because not everyone has social media.
Okay.
Board Member Bo, do you have questions?
No, I will need to echo Board Member Rodriguez-Pena's desire to see all methods of media. Snail mail can still be pretty effective in reaching a broader population.
So my question that I had for tonight and how we can so when we when the board agenda is published and the public see that the PDF details or ourselves we see this, right, and they're waiting to hear for an update and it's 77 pages or it hasn't been updated on the website. I would like to see for that to be updated immediately because you guys are going fast and all of a sudden next week something else happened and wait a minute, what happened here? I want us to be able to show transparency. I want us to communicate because as fast as this is going, because we're having weekly meetings, it is imperative that we first are transparent and second, the communication. because we're not just talking about one school. We're talking now, you know, we would like for them, and I need to applaud you on the, I really like that you're asking the teachers, right? Administrators, are you including them in that?
That meeting is open. I'm sorry, that meeting is open to the entire staff.
The entire staff, including, you said teachers, but CSEA?
All staff.
Oh, all
Yeah,
staff.
All staff. Classified, certificated, management, all staff. And it's not mandatory to join or to attend the meeting to fill out the form. So if you don't attend the meeting and you still want to fill out the form, that's perfectly okay. It's not mandatory to attend the meeting.
So they can still
my
fill it out.
concern is that, you know, the community, they're taxpayers. They pay the taxes
Hold on,
here.
please, Ms. Board Member, let me finish.
Oh,
real
I'm
quick,
sorry.
And then so I think it is important that our employees understand that, you know, if they don't have a chance to come to this meeting, that they can still voice their opinion, so that it's clear on that part. The next thing, well, getting back to the way that it was presented this week on the agenda, I think it's really important. Right, you were saying that you have four plans into 3 models, right? So when I'm looking at it again, I'm looking at 77 pages, and then you say 3.10. I have no idea. 3.8. I don't have an idea. You know, 3.3, 3.1. I think it's a little overwhelming for me. If it's overwhelming for me, I'm sure it's overwhelming for a lot of people to try to understand when the actual, you know, 4 plans are not presented side by side. And the 2 plans for 4.4 and 4.5. And lastly, I would have to agree, you know, and I did ask you in our, you know, when I had a question, that I would like to ask, you know, the city, see if they can put it on their website, put it on their channel 3. You know, it's so important. We have, you know, not just parents, but taxpayers that would also like, you know, to be part of this. So how do we get them involved? Right. So that's something that I would like to, you know, see that happen for Monday. So I don't know, can we brainstorm, how can we get this to get the word out? And like they were sharing, not everyone has social media per se. You know, can we make extra phone calls, right, to our parents to make sure, but at the same time, how, you know, how are we going to extend that invitation to my neighbor who pays taxes but yet does not have kids here anymore because they've all graduated? That's
No, ditto. Yeah, that's true. I am concerned about the taxpayers and seniors that have paid for the school bond and voted for the school bond. I'm just kind of afraid that you know, they're not. They voted for it. It was a very hard vote, and you know, we won by a very small margin. But they need to know what's going on in our district, and especially this reorganization. If we ever look for another school bond, it's not going to happen because we're not transparent enough to show them what's going on with their funding and why they voted and why they're paying taxes when they see their yearly tax form. You know, why am I paying for this? So I really think it's very important one way or another that we reach out to them, and other than social media. Thank you.
Thank you for all the feedback, and we definitely will implement moving forward.
Thank you. Any more questions? No. I before we move on, I do want to just thank the Reconfiguration Committee and administration for. I know that this is a lot of work, and we're asking for the transparency and the communication. And I have faith that you guys will see this through, that we're able to carry this torch with, I have confidence that we'll be able to carry this torch, the Reconfiguration meeting, and us as a board, that collectively we're in this journey together. Now, as we move on our agenda onto the consent calendar.
Board President?
Yes, sir.
Just a quick note on the consent calendar. On 11.2, the minutes. When we posted the agenda on Thursday, the minutes had 2 duplications in there. And so in order for them to look better, we just omitted those duplications. And so just want to be super transparent that this attachment has corrected duplications, but there has been no changes in terms of the content, in terms of what was written. Just 2 items were duplicated twice. And so we just cleaned that up.
Okay, thank you for the clarification on that. With that being said, can I please get a motion to approve 11.1 through 11.19?
I make a motion to approve 11.1 to 11.19, with the exception of 11.9 that was pulled, correct?
Right, we don't change the items. It's still 11.19. Can I please get a second?
Oh, I thought she seconded.
No, she asked another question. Second.
No, I didn't. I did second. You want a second? Sure. Second.
Okay, we have a first by Board Member Rodriguez Pena. We have a second by Board Member Bo. Any questions or discussions? And I don't have the internet right now. Yeah. So let's go ahead and do a roll call. We have Board Member Gonzalez.
Yes.
Board
Yes.
Member Rodriguez Pena.
Yes.
Board Member Bo.
Yes.
And a yes. We have 4 yes, 1 absent. And we'll go ahead and move on to 12.1, which is the approval of agreement between Azusa Unified School District and Elevation and Company. Can I please get a motion to approve 12.1?
I need to abstain, so I can't make any motion. So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a first by Board Member Bo. We have a second by Board Member Rodriguez Pena. Any discussion?
Yeah, I just want to disclose that I'm abstaining just due to a potential conflict of interest. So that's why I'm abstaining.
Thank you so much for that, Board Member Gonzalez. I am not able to vote still. So let's go ahead and
yes.
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 And yes, it's a 3 yes, 1 absent, 1 abstain. And so it passes. Thank you. We are moving on to our business and finance, 13.1, COVID-19 funds update.
Outline all the COVID funds starting from the 1920 year to the 2021 pots of learning loss funds, 1 from the federal government in the amount of $8.7 million, spent by date of June 30th, 2021. Then we received a second pot of learning loss mitigation Prop 98 funds from the state in the amount of $763,000. Both learning loss mitigation funds had to have had an expend by date of June 30th, 2021, and our current balance is 0. We expended all of the funds as required prior to the deadline. Additionally, we received a GEAR fund, which is the Governor Emergency Relief, Education Relief. From the federal government, we received $571,000. This has a spend by date of September 30th, 2022. We currently have $384,000 still available. Lastly, we received ESSER fund, the Elementary and Secondary School Emergency Relief Grant. We received $2.4 million. Those funds have to be expensed by September 30th, 2022, and we currently have $2 million remaining. Here, this is to put a graphic pictorial of exactly of the $12.5 million that we received in COVID relief. You will see our largest pot we received from the federal government in the learning loss mitigation funds, and that equated to 74% of the CARES funding. Then we go to our ESSER funds. We received 21% from the federal government for ESSER. And then we go to our GEAR funds. We received 4.8% of our GEAR funds for our COVID relief. Now we will talk about the health and safety measures that we were able to implement and put in place to the COVID funds that we received. Here's outlining our plexi that we installed district-wide. So we have all of our front offices have been equipped with full range plexiglass. Our student partitions as well have plexiglass on each student desk, as well as each of our faculty has plexiglass. For our teachers, they all have plexi on their individualized desk. Next, we invested in touchless hand sanitizers. We also invested in touchless outdoor hand washing stations that is equipped with paper towels and soap. We also invested in MERV 8 air conditioner filters, as well as installation of the ionization district-wide. Lastly, we invested in the Clorox 360 sprayer, as well as the Glory sprayer, which is being demonstrated by one of our custodians. Next, we invested in our isolation/observation room, where we received rave reviews from every time we had an inspection by the Department of Health. Each school was equipped with 2 cots with a divider, as well as additional PPE, a locked storage bin, and a touchless hand thermometer. Additionally, each school site, we installed an indoor touchless water bottle refillable station, as well as an outdoor touchless water bottle refillable station. Next, additionally, we installed the Mega Scanner, which we call the Mega Scanner, at all of our school sites. All sites in the department were equipped with the touchless handheld thermometer, and all the front offices at the district office, as well as our school sites, received the individualized touchless temperature reader. Now we'll turn it over to Dr. Mitchell, who will talk about the curriculum and instruction.
Thank you very much. The Ed Services team has certainly been very excited to be able to have funds to support learning acceleration and innovation as well. So we were able to purchase science materials and equipment for our schools. And one example of the science equipment was brand new high-powered microscope. So the science departments were super excited about that. And elementary schools are also getting microscopes as well. We purchased digital libraries that included fiction, nonfiction, high interest books, and also students would be able to log in to our digital libraries and to check out the digital books on their Chromebook if they wanted to, or another device. We purchased laptops and webcams for staff to support distance learning. We purchased Chromebooks to replace classroom Chromebooks that we checked out to PK through 12th grade students. So now all of our classrooms have their Chromebooks back in, we'll be having them back in the carts. So that enables students to be able to continue to check out those Chromebooks. So if they want to use the Chromebook at home, they can continue to do that. Or if they want to bring it to school, they can do that as well. But they have that opportunity. We purchased iPad carts for the innovation labs, robotics curriculum for PK through 6, and 3D printers to support our new innovative learning spaces. We also purchased assessment systems such as iReady and Tell to assist in monitoring student achievement during distance learning. Oh, I didn't finish. I'm so sorry. I didn't finish. I apologize. We also purchased elementary instruments sections for our virtual academy, and we also spent funds on high school interventionists at our high schools to support students with their learning. Thank you.
Dr. Russo. Now to talk about the projected additional COVID funding that's on the horizon. So as of right now, we have not received our award allocation, with the exception of our ELO grant, which I'll go in further. So we have 4 additional pots of COVID funding potentially that will be awarded to our school district. So we have the expanded learning time academic intervention grant, which is currently called the Extended Learning Opportunity Grant. We're projected to receive $6.2 million upon board approval. We have a spend by date of August 31st, 2022. Additionally, we are slated to receive the Safe Schools for All in-person learning grant. That would equate to approximately $2.7 million, also with the spend by date of August 31st, 2022. Additionally, we have 2 additional pots of potential ESSER funds, ESSER 2 of $9.8 million with the spend by date of September 2023, and ESSER 3 fund approximately $21.8 million with the projected spend by date of September 2024. What's important to note that these are all one-time funds, and these are all funds that have allocated allowable usage that we can spend on, which is identified on the slide to the left, the chart to the left. With that, I would open up for any questions, or I would like to say.
I just want to thank you, Natasha, for this great presentation. I was waiting for this, but it's very well done. Thank you, and Dana Mitchell. Thank you. I think I do have just a request, and it doesn't have to be a presentation, but in an update to me. So I appreciate having the amounts and then showing what we spent it on. What I would like to understand is how much money in these pots did we spend on each of these parts, right? So it doesn't need to be, I don't need a light item for the things that you have on your list, but at least like health and safety, technology devices, staff, so that we can understand like how those monies were spent. And then for the last slide, in terms of projected funding, it would be good to understand what reporting, if anything, is required for these, and any plan that we need to develop and by what date.
Currently, only one funding pot is the ELO grant, which we have on tonight's board agenda, has a board action required by June 1st.
Right, but then do the ESSER grants require a plan as well?
At this time, no. So we're not even certain that, especially
Do we have any more questions? Well, thank you so much, Natasha Jamal and Dr. Dina Mitchell for your presentation. And we're going to go ahead and move on to our curriculum and instruction. We're moving on to 14.1, Azusa Unified School District, AUSD, Early Childhood Education, ECE program presentation. We have Ms. Jenny Lee.
Good evening. I have our resource teacher joining us. She will be presenting the slides. Very good. So good evening, Board President Arianes, board members, Superintendent Ortega, and other members of the Azusa community. I'm Jenny Lee, Director of Azusa Unified School District Early Childhood Education Programs. This evening, Longfellow's resource teacher, Lisa Vargas Smith, And one of our California State Preschool Program or CSP teachers, Georgiana Taylor, and I will share an overview of our early childhood education programs and some updates. Our ECE program serving children 3 and 4-year-olds includes special education, dual immersion, and CSPP. The ECE team also support TK teachers in our district with curriculum and instruction. Special education preschool classes are housed at Longfellow. Dual immersion preschool and TK classes are located at Longfellow and Valleydale. CSPP is currently offered at 6 of our elementary school sites. This fall, we will add Dalton and Lee to the list. Attending preschool at their home school greatly contribute to our students' successful transition into TK and kindergarten. Therefore, it is important for us to continue to provide our children this opportunity. This data shows current enrollment for each of our programs. COVID-19 has significantly impacted student enrollment in early learning care. Many preschool programs have closed and are running at about 30% capacity, yet our CSPP program is running at 70% capacity. This demonstrates that our communities desires and need early learning care in our district. Enrollment for our special education and dual immersion program continues to remain relatively stable even during COVID. CSPP, our program that we implemented in 2016, began by serving 72 students at Longfellow School. Since then, with the exception of this challenging year, enrollment has been on an upward growth trajectory with our highest enrollment at 250 students in 2019-2020. The number of school sites offering decreased in 2019-2020, that is due to our school closures. However, with the 2 new sites opening up in August, we will resume offering CSPP at 8 schools to children in Azusa as well as children in our surrounding district. We anticipate enrollment in CSPP to continue to increase with federal and state support and early learning care. We look forward to opportunity to expand our program from half day to include full day, full year state preschool. In anticipation of expansion, we license at least 2 classrooms at some of our school sites. Usc Ece Key Objectives are to provide a high quality program that is in alignment with AUSD TK through 3rd grade program to ensure student success as they advance beyond preschool. Using a maze work curriculum and Sobrato Early Academic Language Model, or SIL, we explicitly teach children to value relationship, make connections with peers and adults, and respect differences in others. Furthermore, we seek to establish a relationship and partnerships with families and the community. In ECE, learning is integrated. Play is the primary context for learning, and what may look like play in an ECE classroom is actually intentional teaching and guided learning. Working closely with children and families, our teachers are sensitive and responsive to each child's developmental, cultural, and language needs. Our teachers are provided time to reflect on their teaching and student learning using observation data as well as time to plan with other members of their team. Next, Alicia Berger-Smith will share with you our instructional practices, assessment, and professional development.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Lee. Our ECE programs are guided by the California State Learning Foundations, and our teachers use the California Preschool Curriculum Frameworks, along with CO thematic units, World of Wonders, and everyday math and research based teaching strategies to provide instructions in all subjects. Student learning is measured by the desired results developmental profile, or known as a DRDP, in the fall and in the spring of each year. This data is used to inform parents of their child's progress, to plan instruction, and for class and program self-evaluation. Play is the way a child's mind works, and it is a foundation on which all learning takes place in the Azusa Unified Early Childhood Education program. We conduct several professional development around the concept of learning through play. We have been fortunate enough to receive grants that have enabled us to include staff from the wide spectrum of our early childhood program, which includes state preschool, transitional kindergarten, special education preschool, special education TK, dual immersion preschool, and dual immersion TK. The California Early Math Initiative was headed by Ames and the Fresno County Superintendent of Schools. We were one of 40 organizations in the state selected to participate in this grant. Our focus with this grant was for teachers to support and promote mathematical thinking during play. Teachers were coached in implementing open-ended questions that prompt students to engage in mathematical conversations. Teachers were provided with opportunities to collaborate and to learn from one another while implementing these strategies. And the grant made it possible for us to gift the teachers with a one-time purchase of manipulatives and toys that promote critical math thinking and consisted of items ranging from building blocks to coding sets. We also participated in the SEAL program. This staff development is aimed at assisting teachers in providing a language-rich environment in a multi-language classroom. The SEAL program introduces the importance of oral language and strategies to support young children in using language and to talk about science and social studies content. The importance of the physical environment and dramatic play are stressed in a thematic setting, and SEAL encourages students to use language for a variety of functions and are provided with visuals, charts, opportunities, and activities to talk about the content with their peers as well as with the teachers. And now I would like to introduce Janet Taylor, one of our CSPP teachers.
Preschool and TK teachers have been trained in classroom assessment scoring systems, also known as CLASS. It is an observation assessment tool that focuses on effective classroom interactions between children and teachers. CLASS includes daily interactions that promote children's social and cognitive development. The tool comprises of 3 areas: emotional support, classroom organization, and instructional support. The training includes personalized coaching by our Child Care Alliance of Los Angeles, also known as QSLA. Currently, our teachers have the opportunity to participate in counting collections, a training with strategies from Megan Franke from UCLA to teach and build children's knowledge in counting, number sense, relations, organizing, and recording their collections. The strategies target all children and their individualized developmental levels and needs. Teachers will gain knowledge in scaffolding, development to higher advanced knowledge and math sense. The California Education Partners are collaborating with our district team and teachers in grades PK through 3rd on vertical articulation to provide preschool through 3rd grade coherence collaboration. Our work with the P3CC will establish math routines and build sustainable systems, coherence that align preschool and TK, and bridge students' learning opportunities through multi-grade levels collaboratively with teachers in TK through 3rd grade.
Instructional aids are instrumental in student development and learning and are included in our professional development and that are provided by our coaches. We also encourage our instructional aides to participate in online professional development through the California Early Learning Care Registry. For 2021 to 22, we will provide training in county collections and strategies to support children's social emotional development. We provide a wide variety of ways for our parents to get involved. We hold monthly meetings to disseminate school and district information. Our parents also participate in district level committees and parent days throughout the year. Before COVID, parents joined their children in the classroom and participated in activities that were prepared by our teachers. Parents are provided education opportunities where they are provided with strategies and activities that they can use to promote student learning at home. I would like to share a few of our successes with the board today. This year, we were reviewed by licensing and the CDE program quality department, and we received 0 findings in both facility and program components. We've had opportunity to share about the uniqueness of our program, which includes different models, and provided input to policymakers and ELC advocates. However, our greatest success this year is being able to continue to provide high quality program for our 3 and 4-year-old children through distant learning and through our hybrid models. Our highly trained teachers, support staff, coaches, and the support of AUSD leadership team and community, we know are the driving forces behind our program success. We thank you for your support and the opportunity to share about our ECE program this evening. So this next slide lists the different resources that we referenced throughout the presentation. At this time, does the board have any questions for our team?
Go ahead. Yeah, I have some questions. So first, I just want to say thank you. I appreciate this, and I really appreciate the framing of learning through play. I think that's so important, and so I'm glad to see it embedded in all these different initiatives. I'm a little sad. My son was in preschool when they first started to feel like that first unit at the end of the school year. So I really want to be able to get in there and see what it looks like when it's fully implemented, because these pictures you're showing look pretty amazing. But I do have I was just talking. I do have a couple of questions. One, I have a question about preschool. Right now for CSPP, we only do half day. So what are we thinking about in terms of access to full day preschool?
We are constantly keeping an eye out for funding opportunities to expand to full day, full year. We had that opportunity before COVID. We actually applied and received really high scores. Our grant writer, Julie Hyde, actually thought, we would be able to land that grant. However, with COVID, the CDE tabled that opportunity. So at this time, every week, I attend meetings with the CDE, and the question comes up each time whether there's an opportunity for expansion for a full day, full year. And at this point, there is nothing available yet. So I'm hoping very soon that will be available.
Great. And then so we put in expanded to conditional kindergarten now for a couple of years, right? So what has been the impact on the enrollment in terms of preschool? Are they primarily 3-year-olds? I'm curious in terms of what it looks like now, right? Now that we have expanded TK, what does the preschool look like versus TK?
That is an excellent question, and that's something I've been thinking about since the May revision came out. We understand that we will lose more of our children to TK, and that is that we want our children to have the opportunity to attend a longer day in TK. And currently what we do is when parent enroll, ETK students actually qualify for CSPP2, but we try to get them into one of our ETK programs at our site first. When they don't have the space, then we receive them in CSPP. So it's a good thing for students, but that would definitely impact enrollment in our CSPP program. And I know most of the directors that I had an opportunity to work with and collaborate with have that concern in terms of where would we receive the differences in the number of students enrolled? Would they extend or open up the window for enrollment for our children to attend CSPP? Would they be younger? Would they, right now, they can attend if they turn 3 by December 2nd. So with that date, they push back even further. So I'm attending another meeting with the CDE on Friday, and I know that's going to be a question that I hope to have answer or will ask. I'm not sure what exactly will happen in CE. I attended a meeting with AXA to learn about how the budget impacts TK-12, but not a lot of information has been available for ECE, or early learning care.
Okay, thank you. And then the next question is around Head Start, right? So I know, so we missed the opportunity when it was opened up to apply for it when they had the reorganization at the local level. And I'm just wondering, where are we tracking that? What are we thinking about Head Start if the opportunity arises for an open application process?
There's opening that's available periodically, and we're keeping an eye out for that as well. If knowing that that's the board desire to expand our program to include our 0 to 3, that is really great news, because that's something that we really very much interested in, and that's something we pursued. And when that opportunity opens up, then I will bring that forward and see if we would still want to move forward at that point. But At this time, there's not that opportunity yet, but anything can happen with the budget that's being available right now.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, and I was actually referring to Head Start, which is for the 4-year-olds. But I mean, if we're looking at early Head Start, great. I think that's wonderful. If we, look at both of those. And then speaking about identification, I'm wondering in terms of our process for our students coming in terms of how are we identifying whether they're dual language learners? Do we have a process in place? What do we do in terms of that that kind of identification?
We do not formally identify students as English learners until they turn 5 when they're in TK. We don't have that process in place for the preschool program yet, but we do have in each of our classrooms, we have either the teacher or support staff who speaks a second language to be able to support the dual language learner.
So I'm just gonna suggest you look at what Fresno Superintendent of Schools does. They have a really they have a form. They have a whole process where it's like an interview process with the family, that happens to help identify not only whether they're dual language learners, right? Not English learner, dual language learner. That's what they're referred to at that young age. But then also what are it even incorporates what are the parents' desires for this student. So I want to encourage our staff to look at what they do in Fresno and see about how we can think about that to help have those conversations about language with our families early on. And then my last question is really just around in terms of the differences between our district-run preschools versus CSPP, right? And so in terms of ratios of student to teacher ratios, are there differences between those two programs? And if so, what would it take to make sure that we're aligning those ratios?
Can you repeat the first part of the question again? You cut out.
Yeah. So, for example, for our dual immersion preschool, right?
Okay.
What the teacher to student ratio versus the CSPP class, is it different? Do we hold to the same ratios that we do in CSPP for our district run program? Once we have dual immersion, we have some special ed programs, right? So do they have the same student to teacher ratio that we see at CSPP?
In our special education program, the ratio to with adult to ratio student is a high number of adults because of
the ratio is lower then.
Sorry.
Okay. I'm sorry.
In our dual immersion program, we are staffing the teacher with 2 instructional aid. Currently, she has 1. We're looking for another, so we're staffing that class with the same ratio as we do with the CSPP.
Okay,
classes.
well that's nice because it wasn't like that when I had my son in that program, but that's wonderful that we're doing that now. Okay, those are all of my questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. I had some of the same questions around our strategic plan to offer full day, full year. As a parent of a preschooler myself, that's a major consideration for our household. And with that, I'm glad we had a really rich discussion about the programming. I'd like to know more about how we're marketing to the community. So looking at a preschool parent or families that don't yet have kids, how are we marketing to let them know about our preschool options, both the CSPP and the non-income based programs, so that as families are looking at school district and looking at need for a high quality early education, if you don't go to the district website and do that direct research, how can you find out, or how can we inform the community about the options?
Currently, we have the Blackboard message that's going out to the community. At first, it's once a week, and then once every other week, and then once we get closer to fall, then we will increase that message out to the community, to all families within Azusa. We've also installed banners at all of our school sites so that whoever's driving around in our Azusa community can see our banners for preschool. We are also working on flyers, and our teachers are offering to drop them off at different businesses in the area. So we're actively recruiting students for our program.
Leslie, I appreciate all that. I know that those are all really key components in marketing, you know, at marketing to our existing community, because we have the best kind of referrals come from families and classmates. And so I'm also hearing that the district is engaging in guerrilla marketing by distributing flyers to local businesses. I think I'm kind of echoing our comment about, you know, direct mail. So for for residents, right? Maybe not even families with children, but for residents, have we, or I'd like the district to consider a direct mail campaign that has some periodicity, where we have regular updates, like we have the Measure K COC update. We get that once a year, you know, in a nice flyer, you know, around the season of school enrollments. Could we look at something that puts a piece, you know, a nice flyer in everyone's mailbox, in addition to all of the guerrilla marketing and social media efforts?
That would be wonderful. We are modifying a flyer, a trifold right now. I found one that we've had in the past that we're using to working with Lika right now to modify that and try to get that out into the community. But a mailer would be a great help to increasing our enrollment and bringing it back up to where we were before COVID.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have no comment. Go ahead and move on to, thank you so much for your presentation, ladies. We're going to go ahead and move on to our 4.2, approval of expanded learning opportunities, LO grant plan. And you'll start us off. All right. All right, the Ed Services team is excited to say one more time. Okay. All right, a couple technical difficulties. Let's see. There we go. All right, so the Ed Services team is excited to provide you with our extended learning opportunity grant plan. I'd like to give a shout out to the staff and the parents who provided input into the development of this plan. The Ed Services team for getting the input crafted into the plan, and to Norma Camacho for her work in writing the narrative. Tonight, the team is going to provide you with an overview of this plan. Usc Unified is going to receive a little over $6.2 million of expanded learning opportunity grant funding to provide supplemental instruction and support, social emotional support, and learning recovery for all students, specifically students who are low income, language learners, foster, homeless, students with disabilities, students at risk of abuse, neglect, exploitation, disengaged students, students who are below grade level, credit deficient, and other students who might be identified by staff. Using a comprehensive needs assessment, stakeholder input, and student assessment, all services will be part of a multi-tiered system of supports that include universal, which is tier 1, targeted, which is tier 2, and intensive, which is tier 3 supports for students based on their identified needs. Now, the plan has 7 different areas, and so I'd like to tell you what those are, and then we're going to go through the slides to talk about some of the components of that. There is extending instructional learning time, accelerating progress to close learning gaps, integrated student supports, community learning hubs, supports for credit deficient students, additional academic services, and training for school staff. And so I would now like to turn it over to Norma Camacho.
Thank you. The extended learning opportunities include our summer extravaganza, which is designed to provide students with project-based learning programs to ensure that students are receiving authentic opportunities to engage in academic discourse around complex questions or problems. We are also going to be utilizing the Sobrato Early Academic Language Back to School units, which incorporate language development, multicultural literature, and address social emotional learning for students. We are also looking at offering our Camp ABC before school begins to support our youngest scholars in reacclimating to the school environment. Typically, this is extended to our TK and Kinder students, but this year we will be expanding to our first grade students, as many of our first graders have not had a typical first year school experience, as well as providing access to our school libraries before and after school. Some ways in which we are looking at addressing the barriers to learning will include personnel that will be utilized to assist in accelerating student progress, using diagnostic data to identify strengths and needs, and using this data to support students in closing some learning gaps. We are also looking at expanding the SEAL program, which you heard the preschool team sharing about. The Sobrato Early Academic Language Program will be expanded to sites with significant EL populations to address the learning needs of our English learners and emerging bilinguals by providing an approach that supports high-level cognitive language and literacy skills, as well as bilingualism. We are also looking at funds for school sites to provide experiential learning opportunities for students to increase that student engagement.
Good evening. I'll be speaking to some of the integrated student supports that would address other barriers to learning. One of which would be make-up counseling sessions for ERMs. ERMs is educationally related mental health services, and these services are provided to students with IEPs. And during the school closures, many students had difficulty with getting their services through telehealth. And so these extra hours or these make-up counseling sessions would allow the special education department to ensure that the students were receiving their full services. We also would be looking at extra hours for health aides at our school sites. Our health aides are 3 hours, and this extra time would allow them to make sure that students are safe at school. There would be additional funding for transportation of students who are homeless per the McKinney-Vento Act. These students have a right to stay at their school if they are displaced for whatever reason, and this funding would allow them to maintain school stability. We are also looking at possibly having a LCSW, that's a licensed clinical social worker, as a mental health coordinator. Azusa Unified has many different types of counseling services for its students, including McKinley Children's Center, the Azusa Pacific University PsyDs, doctoral students in psychology who've been working with our students for, 15, 20 years, I think, that they've been doing that work. We have the Counseling Center on Ausd and Citrus. So we have all of these different services in addition to our in-house people, our psychologists, ERMs, counselors, all of those people. But we would like to have one person who would be overseeing all of that. And then there would be additional funding for some of the PBIS-like initiatives that we have. And PBIS has been kind of a continuum of practice in the district, that we provide all of the positive interventions, behavior supports that were introduced during the program when we did the training, the PBIS training. We've modified the focus to include a heightened awareness I would say, of social emotional support, as I spoke to just a moment ago. And then also our work with the Western Justice Center, restorative practices, peer mediation, that sort of thing. And this funding then would be used to support schools with their, with all of this, as I said, continuum of positive behavior and the positive behavior interventions and supports. For the learning hubs, in the past, we've had early birds and late birds, that there's a staggered start for kindergarten students. And in the past several years, Think Together has provided what we called gap hours, where they would supervise the students for the hour of time that they weren't in their students' class time. And for Dr. Bowe and anyone else who may not be familiar with this practice, the staggered start is a group of students would come 60 minutes late in the morning while the rest of the students were there. And then the group that was there at, let's say, 8 o'clock, they would leave 60 minutes early. And this allows the teacher to have a smaller class size for those 2 hours of the day, so the students get more individualized instruction. And as I said, Think Together for the past couple of years have been providing the supervision of those students. So this would provide, Think Together again would be able to supervise those students at a cost not to exceed $50,000 a year. Lastly, this would subsidize students who are in Think Together their fees for the 21-22 school year. And due to the rising the pay scale, I guess minimum wage, the program that we have in Think Together, that didn't go up. We didn't get more money, but the cost of the Think Together program became higher. So Think Together was charging a registration fee for students, so we'd be able to ensure that we'd be able to have the program that we have as it stands. Now, with this additional funding, we would be able to subsidize the student fees for students for the 21-22 school year, and that would make Think Together free for our parents again.
Good evening. I will be speaking about the supports that we will have for credit deficient students. And of course, our goal to have them complete their graduation or grade promotion requirements, and ultimately to increase or improve the student's college eligibility. We will be using the funds, hopefully, to fund 4 full-time employees or FTEs, teachers who will give high school instructional support. The goal is to give more direct attention to students who are credit deficient, to keep them on track for graduation, to guide them into college and career options. That is a very important aspect of helping our students who will ultimately graduate and move on to college or career. We also want to fund APEX. It's an online learning curriculum that allows for not only credit recovery, but also for students who want grade improvement, students who feel like they can improve their grades if they got lower than a C in order to be A through G eligible. We also want to direct some attention to the CTE world. We are looking for a specialist that can support and guide the counselors, as well as our career guidance techs, as well as our students, in ensuring that they're on proper career pathways that articulate well with our community colleges or prepare them for high wage, high earner jobs. And finally, to add, we want to start with ethics studies professional development. And the ethics studies professional development essentially will start in the fall. And we want to have professional learning with a series of workshops for secondary teachers. And the professional learning includes high school course development and ultimately UC course syllabus submission, so it is an A through G approved course.
All right, for additional academic services, we will be providing iReady, the iReady assessment system for all of our elementary schools for K-8. We'll also be to help us get ahead of the school year, providing summer hours for psychologists and education specialists to conduct special education assessments and IEP over the summer. Along the lines of training for school staff on strategies to engage students and families and addressing students' social, emotional, health, and academic needs, we have a variety of professional learning development for certificated and classified instructional staff. Rather than focusing on remediation, we will take a comprehensive approach to restore and reimagine the ways in which we address equity and opportunity gaps through evidence-based strategies. We will also be working on summer professional learning. We've been doing project-based professional learning with our teachers. There will be extra hours for community liaisons, some work around dialogue allows professional learning for library aides, and also doing some work and some professional learning with our library as well to help to match students with text. We will also be spending funding, again, supporting our parent and family education as well.
And finally, coordinating the use of our expanded learning opportunity grant funds to ensure federal programs and state funds are working in tandem to meet the district goals and to support the academic and social emotional learning needs of students, as well as the operations of schools.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, we open it up to any questions that you might have.
Go first this time. You have any questions? Okay. Yeah, I have several questions. So with the additional positions, so we would be hiring additional staff. Okay, that's great. I just want to say I appreciate that. I think I hear from a lot of peers at the district. Their staff are telling them it's all one-time money. We can't spend it on any staffing, right? And so we know that staffing drives education. So I just want to express my appreciation to the committee for doing that, to having that approach. I have a question about the project-based learning. So in terms of professional development and integrating, right? I just want to know a little more specifically in terms of how is it going to be a one-time training? Is the training going to be ongoing? And then the follow-up to that is how is it going to be integrated into actual learning?
Yep. Those are great questions. So one of the things that we paid very close attention to was the work that Classroom High School has been doing with High Tech High professional learning around project-based learning. One of the things that that stands out with High Tech High is their emphasis on creating projects that stem around social justice, around making sure that students are engaged in projects that have to do with their community. And so they take a lens with project-based learning that I think does really fit with what we would like to do in Unified. In terms of the training, and so we've been working with High Tech High, and we've got a contract coming up to approve for professional learning. There are several options for teachers to participate in the summer. So we have the first option is that we will be providing training for our teachers who are teaching in our summer learning program. And so that's kind of our test kitchen to kind of see how we're going to develop some units and integrate, into summer learning. The second option is that we have opened it up, asked teachers to see if they would be willing to, do a little work around, project-based learning this summer. And so we've had 50 teachers express interest. And so we reached out to High Tech High to say, can you help us? And are there some, some workshops? And so we have teachers who have signed up to attend project-based learning camp. And then they have another one as well that sounded really interesting around how you learn how to, again, integrate project-based learning through lessons. And so that's going to be the start of that. And then as we take a look at that and take this kind of test kitchen, to see, how it's working, get their feedback, how are we doing that, really pay attention to it. But again, begin to open that up and then continue to offer, this training so other teachers can do that as well. So we'll take a test kitchen approach to really see exactly how we want to do this. And again, we want to offer it to everyone. We know that project-based learning is something that is beneficial for all students. It's definitely something that is engaging. It's supportive of our second language learners. Lots of collaboration. It's based on inquiry. And so this is definitely a direction that we want to go.
Okay. And so is it just like this year, or we think that it will continue?
I'm going to say that it will continue. I think that this is something that when we think about, for example, our student success drivers, right? These are lasting, I don't want to say initiatives, but really ways in which we want students to be able to engage in learning. And so this is something that we want to continue to do. Authentic project-based learning. We know that it's engaging, and we know that's something that that definitely supports students as well.
That's good. My next question is around this whole shift from remediation and prevention approaches to accelerated learning, right? And so I think I just want to understand a little better about how we're doing that. I think we have a whole system set up around like resource keepers who do pull out intervention, right? So how are we shifting the knowledge set and the approaches that really is acceleration, not remediation, called acceleration?
Yep. So when we think about, there's a couple of things, right? We know that there are going to be some students who have some gaps in their learning, right? And so we want to make sure that we're creating opportunities for students to be able to accelerate at the same time we are filling in some gaps. And so that is just right instruction. One of the ways to do that is through tutoring and small group instruction. And this is what the literature is really coming out saying right now, especially if you come back into buildings. What are the ways in which we can provide that tutoring during the day and small group instruction? So providing extra hours to our paraprofessionals and setting up a system, right, with that is going to be something that will help us during the instructional day.
But the focus is going to be on grade level content.
The focus is always on grade level content. One of the things that we'll use is the iReady data, right? That assessment data that will tell us exactly, what are some of the areas in which you might need. It provides us an opportunity to be able to create small groups. If we do station rotation, we have paraprofessional support in the classroom, then we're able to provide some of that instruction to students at what they need. But definitely grade level instruction, not remediation. We missed a few months of this. We have to go back and teach it. That's not what we want to do. It's going to cause a greater gap.
Great. And then in terms of, since you mentioned iReady, in terms of just reporting out assessment data, since we're substituting our internal assessment for CAS, right?
Yes.
What is the plan for communicating that with the board and with families?
So we have all of our district assessment data in Illuminate, and so we are able to provide reports, and we do plan on providing that to the board and providing reports that we're able to send to families as well.
Is there a timeline on that estimate?
It will be in June.
So it's going to be this school year.
It will, yes.
I mean, that's a lot faster than past. So.
It is.
All right. And then two last things. So
sure.
This is probably for Frank. So in terms of ethnic studies, we talked about doing two questions. One, is the training around ethnic studies going to be internal? Is there going to be outside support? What is the approach for that?
I can definitely answer that one. So we've actually been meeting with an ethnic studies consultant group. They've been doing some work in other school districts, and so I've met with them a couple of times. We actually had them come and present to our I committee to talk about what is ethnic studies, what does it look like in K-12, how do they develop courses, what does it look like, what are the components of that, and so in attendance, I mean, at the DI committee, especially the students, the non-students who were there, all very excited about moving forward with this work. So I've been working with principals to begin the discussion on, what it would look like, what kinds of courses. So what we're going to do is we're going to offer some workshops. It might be this summer. We're still working on that piece, but if it's not in August, it will for sure be in the fall. So we will be having teachers participate in a series of workshops throughout the year. The workshops culminate in the development of the high school courses that would be submitted for approval.
So what's the name of the what are you looking with? You can get it to me later on if you don't know the name of it. It's fine. Yes, it's just in the update.
Yes.
And then in terms of course development,
Can I ask for clarification? I mean, do you want this in the Thursday report, or do you want this for all of the board, or is this something that?
well, I mean, the Thursday report goes to all of us, right? That's
Right,
that's what I'm saying. I just want to know the name of it in our Thursday report.
Okay. So
Yeah.
he gets that. Okay.
Yeah, no, we'll all get it, right? I think anytime any of us request anything, we all get the same information. So yeah, and then so I just want to put my plug in for freshman English course. I think that's I think that if we do that, that would be amazing. I mean the research shows what happened in Tucson in terms of that early access to ethnic studies. So I just want to put my plug in for that to happen. And then my last my last comment or questions around just the framing for the board, right? So I mentioned delegate assembly and CSB delegate assembly this past weekend, and so Heather Hoff from Chase was presenting to us, and one of the questions one of the board members had was, what should we as board members be looking for in terms of these investments, right? And so her recommendation, which I thought was actually really good to think about, is boards should be thinking about what are the outcomes that you're trying to achieve with your short-term investment, and clearly articulate those outcomes so that you can measure your investments, whether it's summer learning, to those outcomes, right? And so the example she had was in terms of around accelerating learning or relationship building. Those are two examples that she gave, but I think for me as a board member, I think that's really good advice, and for us to really articulate what is the goal of these investments that we're making, and what do we hope to see as outcomes, so then that we can track that and see how well, see whether these investments are matching our goals. Got it. And that was my last one.
No, I do not.
So moved. I'll second. Is it working for you?
I don't have it.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. 4 yes, 1 absent. On to 4.2. Approval of the memorandum of understanding by school and together.
I make a motion to approve 14.3.
By board member Kenya, second by board member Bo.
I just want to thank Think Together again for their partnership. You know, on YouTube there is a video out regarding Think Together Heroes. Center Middle School site coordinator Melissa Castellan is highlighted in this video, and also another video that's Meet the Moment video. Dr. Contreras from Center Middle School is also highlighted in this video, and they're speaking about the students in the Think Together program and what they do, what the curriculum is. And you know how the kids enjoy being there, and how they're working with students. Some of the students are homeless, and you know how they give them lunch, and you know the program is such a beautiful program. And I just want to say you can view that on YouTube. It's really touching one of them. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
College?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I myself, yes, have a full one, absent, four of the school, of the fight school. And five, 10, five breaths.
So moved. Second.
By board member Solid, second by board member Kenya. And for a vote,
Yes.
Solid.
Yes.
Kenya.
Yes.
Yes, vote, myself, yes, yes, one, out. On board 25. Approval of unified school and special workforce development. Next is vote 14.5.
So moved.
Now first by board member vote,
Second.
second by board member. Start with board member Solid.
Yes.
Now board member
Yes.
vote. Yes. I myself, yes. Four, yes, one absent. And moving on to 50.1. Approval of memorandum of understanding and by school district and the one.
I make a motion to approve 15.1.
By board member Kenya.
Second.
Solid, for question discussion. I actually have one, I don't. Are
This is an MOU that is with that is focused on the Educators Association. So we have not gone into any discussions about any increases or offsets or bonuses, payment for management.
that said, I one thing I
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Correct that on that or
Yes.
well, it is time for our past 6.1 at the end of this award meeting for today. I mean, please do the most 6.1.
Make a motion to approve 16.1.
Yes, first by board member.
Second.
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 And I board member Flo, second. Roll call.
Yes.
Yes, for board member Solid.
Yes.
Yes, for board member Kenya.
Yes.
Yes, for board member Flo, and yes, for myself, so for one, our at 9:30. May all of you guys have a great night. Thank you guys so much for today. And we'll